Perfect. Thanks, Jackie. But so for this evening, we'll be from 6 to 7:30. We'll give an overview of the club success plan. We'll have a panel discussion, and we will have an interactive workshop. As you've noticed, this session will be recorded and all materials will be shared after the event today. And most importantly, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to be with us today. Hopefully you were able to grab dinner or a snack right before you were able to jump on. And I think there's no better way to kick off the week than with a special Toastmasters event like the one we have today. Now I will introduce the main presenter for this evening, Miss Jackie Collier. Jackie has been a Toastmaster since 2005. Jackie, I'll spare you in letting you know how old I was in 2005, if that's how long you've been a Toastmaster. She's held several club officer roles. She's been an area director. She was named Division Director of the Year. She's been our district's public relations manager and is our immediate past club growth director. And not only has Jackie accomplished all of the leadership skills through Toastmasters, but she's also reached her educational goals, being a distinguished Toastmaster in two different pathways. Effective coaching, she's on her level 3, and her visionary communications path is her level 4. When I was thinking about how to introduce Jackie today, I was trying to remember when we first met. And honestly, Jackie, I feel like I've known you forever. I could not think of that single moment in time that I was introduced to you. But I will share that Jackie and I became very close when we both mentored and coached an up-and-coming newly chartered club. And I learned so much from being with her and being around her and learning about the Toastmasters journey. So it's truly an honor and a privilege to have Jackie as our presenter this evening. With that, let's put our hands together for Jackie Collier.
Thank you so much, Catherine. I don't know if I can live up to all of that this evening, but I will do my best. And when she said snack beforehand, that was me. I was eating my favorite Sarah's chocolate covered pretzels before we got things started. So hopefully that will keep my energy up for this evening. As Catherine said, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us today. For this evening, our agenda is we're going to talk a little bit about the club mission. What is the club success plan? How to complete it? Have our panel discussion, and then go through our question and answer and workshop. As Toastmasters, and especially as leaders in Toastmasters, everything we do should support the club mission. Can someone tell me what the Toastmasters International Club mission is? And anyone can just shout it out.
Yeah, to provide a safe environment for members to develop their speaking and leadership skills so that they in turn become better citizens in our world.
Thank you, Alita. That's right. Our club mission is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater confidence and personal growth. Therefore, when we work on our club success plan, in the forefront of our mind should be how this will contribute to supporting our members, creating a positive learning experience for them, and facilitating the development of their communication and leadership skills. What is the Club Success Plan? Affectionately called the CSP, and I am omitting Jim. The CSP is a tool to assist your club in achieving distinguished status or better in the Distinguished Club Program. And it is actually our roadmap to success. Catherine, can you see to omit the people? So I'm sorry. Re-omitting and trying to do this, it's a little challenging. When you utilize the CSP to reach your DCP goals, you will see step by step what you need to do to succeed. The CSP is broken down into 5 sections: committee values, education goals, membership goals, training goals, and administration goals. As you will see on page 1, it breaks down each level of the Distinguished Club Program. If you achieve 5 of the 10 goals, you are a distinguished club. 7 of the 10 goals, at least 7, you're a select distinguished. And when you achieve 9 or 10 of the goals, you are a President's Distinguished Club. And you will see how it is broken down in the different sections. And it also relates to your club success plan and your Distinguished Club Plan, which you can find your status and how this relates to all of these goals when you go to your dashboard. Where to find the CSP? You simply go to Toastmasters International and you click login. You put in your member ID or your email along with your password. When you submit login, you will want to go next to where it says Leadership Central. You'll click on that, which you will get the drop-down box, and then you want to go to Club Central. When you go to Club Central, if you are a member of more than one club, you want to make sure that you select the club that you are working on. You will go to Club Central and you'll see these wonderful things that you can do in there. And the Club Success Plan tab is all the way at the bottom. You want to click on that, and then it will take you to a screen where you can download the Success Plan template. When you download it, you will see that it is a PDF document, but it is a fillable PDF document. So you can type in directly into the document and save it. The first section is the committee values. It starts with what are the executive committee values. And a good place to start when you think of your values are the Toastmaster International core values. Can someone please tell me what those are? You don't have to raise your hand. You could just shout them out.
Respect, integrity, service, and education.
Thank you. Alita, you are my #1 participant this evening. So yes, it is integrity, respect, service, and excellence. Those are Toastmasters International core values, and that's a great place to start. You may also want to have communication, all kind of things that you can put in there, but that's the section where you're going to put them and refer back to them. You also are going to talk about how you are going to communicate and relate to each other. How is decision-making done? Is it going to be democratically or through dictatorship? And in Toastmasters, we do hope that the decision-making is done democratically. As leaders, there are times where you're going to run into conflict. You want to be prepared for this. So you want to discuss in advance how you are going to work with conflict resolution. This is the section where you would put that. And also accountability. What does that mean to each member of the executive team? And how will you hold each other accountable? This is new to the Club Success Plan. It is the member engagement. And in this section, it talks about the moments of truth, which I think this is an excellent addition to the Club Success Plan. Who knows what the moments of truth is? Someone other than Alita. Does anyone know?
Is that part of the evaluation of your club and how your club is doing overall?
Yes, it is. It's a part of the Successful Club series, and it outlines how to create a positive first impression of your club and recognize and deal with situations critical to club success. This has 6 sections in it: first impressions, membership orientation, fellowship, variety, and communication, program planning and meeting organization, membership strength, and achievement recognition. How many of your clubs have done the moments of truth? Any of your clubs?
We have, well, yeah.
Thank you, Emily. Do you do it annually when you do the moments of truth? John, you're talking, but we don't hear you.
I wasn't talking. I just took myself off mute.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah, a lot of, I might look like I'm talking to myself, I guess. I guess a lot of clubs do it annually. We try to do it every 6 months, twice a year. Yeah.
Great, great. John is one of our panelists. Look forward to his input later tonight. And with the addition to the moments of truth to this Club Success Plan, when do you think you should do the moments of truth? In the beginning of the year, Toastmasters year, towards the end of the previous year, or mid-year? You can think about that. The second section is the education section. And the first part of this is the education progress worksheet. You're going to use this plan to list out how you and your club are going to accomplish these goals. Can someone tell me what percentage of the Distinguished Club Program plan is made up of educational goals?
Probably about 80%.
Little high, Dan.
6 of the 10, 60%.
60%, correct. And to accomplish the achievement of all those goals, you need a total of 12 pathways levels completed. 4 of the level 1s, 4 of the level 2s, 2 of the level 3s, and either two of the level 4 path completion or DTM to meet the last 2 goals. So as you see, this is a very important section and a very important portion of your plan. And how do you strategize to achieve these goals? And what club officer oversees the educational program in your club?
The VPE.
VPE. In most clubs, it definitely is the VPE. And how you strategize is by seeing where you are today. And how you do that is you go on to Basecamp for the Basecamp managers, which you want to go to the members' progress. And before we do this, do you know who the Basecamp managers are in each club?
VPE, president and secretary.
Thank you so much. Yes, they are. You want to go to the member progress, which will pull up this line. And you want to make sure you refresh so you can get the most current documentation. After you refresh it, you want to export it into Excel, where you will see where each member is. Since I didn't want to share other club members' information, I currently just shared my own. And as you see, I have completed level 1 and 2 paths, and I am in progress for my 3rd path. You want to go through and see where each member of your club is. And after you find out where they are and where you want to put them on your plan, you want to contact that member individually to get their commitment and buy-in to help your club complete an educational goal and a goal on the DCP plan. Next in this section, you're going to talk about the current obstacles and strategies and tactics you're going to use to overcome those obstacles. Some obstacles you want to go over, some you want to go around, some you're going to go through. And it could be something as simple as your members are not signed up in Pathways. And that's an obstacle that is easily rectified by just talking to the member and walking them through how they can be on Pathways. You're also going to talk about education engagement in this section. And it talks about on a scale of 1 to 5, how familiar are your members with the Pathways learning experience? Once you answer that, you'll talk about how you're currently promoting Pathways, brainstorms on ways you can promote Pathways, and going forward.
Jackie, can I ask you one question here that I've been trying to get? How can one get copies of the different pathway manuals? I mean, I tried to go online and, well, we won't talk about that.
Yes.
What can I do to get the books? I'm not adverse to paying for them.
So if a member of your club would like to order the books, what you would do is have them, they can either select that option when they select their path initially, or they can call Toastmasters International and order a path through member services.
That sounds very simple, but
yes, it is. And we can discuss it further offline.
Okay, thank you.
You also want to talk about who is introducing new members to Pathways. This is what you want to have a clear understanding of who is going to introduce the new members and who is going to show them around Basecamp. All of this will go on your club success plan. And then again, how to motivate your members. The next section is the membership goals. You want to see where you're beginning, and how you do that is simply go to Leadership Central, look at the Distinguished Club Performance Reports. You can pull up District 13 and then pull up your club. You'll see, you'll get your base for the beginning of the Toastmasters year, and that's a very important number because Then you will know if you need to go to 20 members or just add 5, and it will also tell you at the bottom.
Oh, Jackie, can I just interrupt for 1 second? Actually, this year it's going to be +3 for distinguished, not +5.
That's right. Thank you so much. Yes, we talked about that at our ProMasters meeting, and that is so exciting. So yes, it's either going to be, your base is going to be 20 or an additional +3. And that's a net +3. Then you'll, in this section, talk about strategies and tactics again. The 4th section is the training goals. District 13 offers great training. If you did not attend the summer TLI, you really missed out. We not only have great TLIs, we also have division-sponsored wonderful makeup trainings that are always available during the training period. This is a great worksheet where you can write down each officer's name and simply check off when they have attended the club officer training to make sure that you meet this goal in your DCP program. And can you tell me, what is the training goal when it comes to the DCP program? What requirement do you have to meet?
4 per TLI.
Yes, 4 officers trained in each training period. Thank you so much for that. And each section does have the strategies and tactics area. Last but certainly not least is administration goals, which is section 5. You'll talk about who is responsible for making this happen. Membership goals, the renewals are due twice a year, and you'll note who is responsible for that. Your officer list, you want to go to Club Central and make sure you click on Club Officer Assignment to assign your officers and submit your list. In order to make this goal, do you submit your officer list in the current Toastmaster year? Or in order to qualify, does it have to be submitted at the end of the previous Toastmasters year? Can someone answer that for me?
End of the previous year.
Thank you, John. And the last 2 pages in your club success plan are the signatures and action item worksheet. Want to make sure that each officer agrees that everything is fine on the club success plan. They sign and date it. If you have your immediate past president available and he or she contributed, they would be on there. And if you had any other club members who participated, you want to make sure that you get their role and their signature as well. The appendix page is great because if you have action items like Dawn Patrol, when we did ours, we had an action item to reach out to every member to find out what their educational goals for the year were. And that was related to DCP goals 1 through 6. And the VPE was responsible for that. Our second action item was to increase membership, which related to DCP goals 7 and 8. And our VP of membership and public relations, we're going to work on having an open house. Once you complete your club success plan, you want to be able to upload it to Toastmasters International. You go back to the club success plan area and you simply hit the upload plan button. It's going to take you where you want to choose the file. You select the file, hit open, and then you hit submit to upload the plan. And that is the club success plan and how you fill it out. And I know this is what you've really been waiting for, our esteemed panelists and what they have to say about the Distinguished Club. Well, the club success plan, excuse me. Our first panelist is representing Division A. Distinguished Toastmaster John Sinclair began his Toastmasters career in 2004 with the NYC Metropolitan Club when it was a part of District 46. He would later join the Huntington LI Club and the Suffolk County Club, serving in all club officer roles and serving the district as an area and division director. After spending the last 10 years of his career in Asia Pacific, John reignited his Toastmasters journey with the Moon Toastmasters Club, where he currently serves as the VPE. He has served District 13 as an area director, division director, and club growth director. Please help me welcome John Sinclair. Representing Division B this evening is Distinguished Toastmaster Tina Kramer. She has been a Toastmaster since November 2018 and is a current member of Cranberry High Noon Toastmasters. She was last year's Area 12 Director and is a past president of Cranberry High Noon. During her term as president, the club won Division B Club of the Year. She was also awarded the Spirit of Toastmasters Award by the district director. She enjoys sharing Toastmasters and her knowledge and mentoring others in their Toastmasters journey. Help me welcome Tina. Representing Division C is our next panelist, Distinguished Toastmaster Fred Rombrock. He first joined Toastmasters many years ago. He is currently a member of 5 D13 Toastmasters clubs: Achievers, Bakery Square, Bayview, Johnstown, and Priority Speakers. He is also our Division B director. Please join me in welcoming Fred. Last and certainly not least is Dr. Elizabeth Carter. She is also a distinguished Toastmaster and has been a Toastmaster for 11 years. Her leadership journey started as a new member, swiftly pushed into club leadership after only 3 months. She has never gone a year since then without holding a club and or district leadership role. She is a past district director of District 18, which serves the state of Delaware and parts of Maryland, Pennsylvania, Virginia, and West Virginia. She is a member of the Cranberry Area Toastmasters Club, VP of membership of the Pro Masters Club, both community clubs in Division B, and president of the Talk Tons Toastmasters Club, which is a corporate club that supports both Highmark and the Allegheny Health Network in Division D. Help me welcome Dr. Elizabeth. As I said, we have a star-studded group this evening. And Catherine, if you could pin our panelists so they are on the forefront.
Yep, they're all pinned.
All right, great. We are going to start with John. The club success plan has gone from 19 pages to 10. How do you like the new club success plan?
Well, thank you very much for that question, Jackie. I believe it's 22 pages right now. And I'm a fan of simplicity as long as the value is not sacrificed for simplicity. So there are lots of duplication in the plan right now. As I see it, we see Moments of Truth, for example, all over Toastmasters. And Moments of Truth is a cornerstone program, is a cornerstone of the Toastmasters program, along with the Distinguished Club program and a few others. I like duplication of the Moments of Truth because it keeps it in front of your face. I'm often asked, why is the club so successful? Like Cranberry High Noon, and we'll hear from Tina here in a minute. Or why is the club struggling? We were struggling with membership. And my answer is always the same to those individuals. And it's Moments of Truth. Moments of Truth act as a barometer, your compass for success in Toastmasters. And I'm glad to see that in the club success plan. But to answer your question more directly, if we can make it more simple, I'm all for doing that. I just don't want to sacrifice the value that the club success plan offers the clubs.
Thank you, John. We will move right along to Tina because she's representing Division B. And can you tell us, when does your club develop its CSP for the Toastmasters year?
Cranberry High Noon always does a club success plan very early in the year. And that is really the best practice for the club success plan. It does you no good to do it in the middle of the year or at the end of the year, right? And as you said in your presentation, it's a roadmap to success. So our goal is to complete that club success plan literally by August 31st. And that was a tradition that's been handed down from the beginning of when the club was chartered, which was somewhere around 2013. And when I was president, that's what we did as well. So we got together as officers and we went through the plan from the year before. We got it out and we said, okay, what do we need to do? What did it look like last year? And we divided it up by, with the officers, the executive committee, and we went through and we started looking at it and filled it out. And that was our goal by the end of August. So the Toastmasters year, for those of you that aren't familiar, I saw there was a question in the chat, starts July 1st. We get the officers all elected in June or before May and June, and we start looking at that club success plan. So our goal is to get that done by August 31st. And then we're ready to start the year off right.
Thank you.
Can I ask a quick question?
Well, Dan, can we hold the questions
till
the end until after we do the panel discussion?
Jackie, may I offer comment on what Tina just said?
Yes, you can.
I think it's very important having it done earlier in the year or early as possible. I believe sometimes the district asks for club success plans to be completed by end of September so that we qualify for an incentive. But I think that 1/4 of the way through the Toastmasters year is too late. And I'm glad to see that other clubs like Cranberry High Noon is doing their plans, end of August or perhaps even earlier.
Yes, so am I. Next up, I'm going to ask the question of Fred. What strategies do you use to complete your CSP? Do you do a cut and paste from the previous years, which Tina touched on a little bit about that? Do you assign different sections to different individuals, which Tina also touched upon that? How does your club approach the completion of it? Or clubs?
Thank you, Jackie, for that question. I'll just answer by saying yes. I've been a member of 10 different clubs, so it's all over the map, and I've been members of clubs literally all over the map, out west and so forth. And what I've seen in these clubs is, quite frankly, most clubs don't do the CSP, which I think is a huge detriment to them, and no surprise those clubs have struggled. But what I've also seen is that many clubs try to keep the process simplified. What does that mean? It means take an existing club success plan as a baseline edit it, add to it, tweak it, and then make it your own. So copy and paste is a great way. Another technique is to actually go out and Google and see what clubs around the world, because remember, we're in 149 countries. And so it's very interesting to see how countries in the Pacific Rim address club success plans and how that differs from our culture, our country. But we can glean from all of those really cool nuggets that we can apply in our program. So it kind of depends on the club, but again, I've seen it all over the map. But I would just start with an existing document if there is one, and then build on that so that the next year we can continue to make it better and better and more effective. Back to you, Jackie.
Thank you, Fred. That is some great advice. I never even thought to look at a club success plan from across the globe. So thank you for that, Fred. Dr. Carter, when your club or clubs create their club success plan, is it a one and done, or do you review it and update it as the Toastmaster year continues?
Thank you for the question, Jackie, and good evening, everyone. Well, similar to Fred, I've been in several clubs during my tenure here at Toastmasters, and it does vary. In most cases, because it was a 22 or so page document, it was a long, draining once and done, never to be looked at again. But in some instances, it was pulled out just to double check what we said we were going to do. The part where it asks who's doing what as far as education, that page is great for when the area director comes. And that last page where he or she wants to know what's on the docket, what do you have planned, you can cross-reference. So it should be used more often than it is, but in most cases, it is a once and done. Hopefully this condensed file is a lot more user-friendly. So it should be pulled out more frequently, but in most cases it's a once and done, but maybe reference once in a blue moon, but not as often as it needs to be.
Thank you, Dr. Carter. Moving back to John.
Before you ask me the question, Jackie, may I comment on Dr.
You sure can, John.
Answer? Because a lot of clubs treat the club success plan as a one and done and treat it as a static document. And we know it should be a dynamic,
a living document.
A living document. But I would submit to you and the attendees here that we constantly are looking at the dashboard, and we're constantly looking at the Distinguished Club Program and all the elements that comprise it. So we are certainly looking at a part of the plan at all times, and we treat it as pretty much dynamic and not just one and done.
Thank you for that, Fred. Excuse me, John. So when your clubs work on the CSP, typically how long does it take your club to complete it?
We typically start working at the beginning of the Toastmasters year. And you don't even actually have to start at the beginning of the Toastmasters year because you know who the officers are going in to the new Toastmasters year if you really want to get an early jump on it. But in Moon Club, we typically start a few weeks into the new Toastmasters year, and we aim to have it done and completed like Tina's club does by the end of August. It does take a little bit of time because we have each member of the executive committee working on their component of the plan, and then we pass it around in a serial fashion. So that's really what takes the most amount of time. I guess we can parse it up and make it more speedy if we were to have all members of the executive committee working on their parts simultaneously. But we start working on it at the beginning of the Toastmasters year and hope to have it completed by the end of August, like Cranberry High Noon. Yep.
Thank you, John. Tina, does anyone other than your executive committee work on the CSP in your club?
Oh, typically not, at least not in the year that I worked on it or was involved with it. But certainly if you have others in your club that are assisting with roles, so say some clubs might have subcommittees to assist the VPE or VPPR or even membership, then they should be involved, right? If they're going to be involved for the year, why not have them help, right, with the plan? They're going to be helping with the strategy for the year, the goal planning, the work. They should be involved with helping with the plan, because that's what it's all about. It's about the success. It's about the roadmap for the year. So they should be involved. So strictly for what we did for Cranberry High Noon for the years that I was involved with the plan, that wasn't what was happening or did happen. But I would encourage, anyone that's involved with mapping out the goals and going to be involved with working on the plan for the year should be involved. It's not just limited to the officers. Should be anyone that's going to be involved with the plan or is interested in maybe even pursuing being an officer in the upcoming year, certainly can be involved with the plan. The other thing I just want to tack on to John's comment about, a living document. One of the things, Jackie, you also said in the presentation is there's spots for tracking officers going to training. That's another reason to come back to this document. Or if you have goals that you're tracking, action items in the appendix, another reason to come back to the document. I think this document is much more of a living document, and the way it's been designed in the update is another reason to come back to it. And I would agree with Elizabeth, after you're done going through this once in 22 pages, you're done with it. But this makes it is a shorter version, and the way that they've added fields to it and just the way that it's been redesigned makes you more likely to have to update it and want to update it. So all the better.
Thank you, Tina. And I agree. I meant to put that in my presentation, that the Club Success Plan is definitely a living document. With that, we are going to move on to Fred. When it comes to the addition of the moments of truth to the Club Success Plan, what do you think about that?
Thank you for that question. I'm excited that the fact that they've redone the CSP by making it shorter, as you noted, as well as integrating the moments of truth. And I would throw out a new model, perhaps new to some, maybe it's old to others, but I believe that the time to do moments of truth survey is the latter part of April. Here's why. Because according to the TI handbook for clubs, we should be having our officer elections the first meeting in May. So if we have the moments of truth done in late April, we elect our officers in early May, that gives the new officers incoming time to review the moments of truth, and then they can draft the club success plan while they're still waiting in the May and June time period. They can then start listing all the dates for the club for the upcoming year, July through the following, and they could actually, with permission, go ahead and upload on the club website the meeting dates for the following year. And they could go ahead and get the club officer assignment list done by June 30th. That way, on July 1st, they've taken care of the club officer list. They've got all the dates for the meeting published. They've got a viable CSP, Club Success Plan, ready to go. And they've incorporated the feedback they got from the Moments of Truth survey, because what that really shows us is where our weak spots are. And maybe it's recognition, maybe it's membership, or whatever it is, they can now put in an action plan into the actual document so that July 1st, hey, we got our Nikes on. We're just going to do it, and we're going to run, and we're going to have some fun, and this is going to be a distinguished year. Come on, get out of my way. Let's get going. So those are some of my thoughts about MOT and CSP. Back to you, Jackie.
Thank you, Fred. I love it. Put your Nikes on and just do it. Let's run. Dr. Carter, with that, what are the advantages of having a good plan in place?
Well, they always say if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And always having something documented as far as a roadmap provides accountability and something to reference. And whether or not you may be reusing ideas that didn't happen last year or you're creating new, having it written down really is very helpful, because we seem to get amnesia pretty quickly. What did we say we were going to do when are we going to have that open house? When are we going to do this and do that? Having it written down, we can easily refer back to it so that we're all clear on what we all agreed to. And then again, we are able to now go back and look at it to revisit to say, okay, well, we missed that deadline. We need to revisit how we're going to do it, what we're going to do. And that really will help the team move forward and keeps them connected also as a cohesive group.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Carter. With that, John, what are some of the obstacles you have encountered when preparing your CSP, if any?
Absolutely, we encounter obstacles. I think they should be expected. But I think the major problem is getting the entire executive committee on board and understanding their part and the contribution needed from them to contribute to the club success plan. Once you have all the executive committee members on board, things do tend to move along more smoothly and more expeditiously, but getting all those members on board initially, I think, is one of the biggest obstacles that the Moon Club has faced.
Okay, thank you, John, for sharing that. Tina, how do you utilize the CSP to target your goals?
I think the biggest way, or the main way that you could do that, is really to just start looking at it page by page, right? It follows very closely on purpose the DCP, right? So you just start breaking it down, have each officer look at their piece, and you start looking at membership goals, you start looking at the educational goals and the training goals, the administration goals, and start having each officer, like I said, look at their pieces and see where you are, see where the gaps are, and see how you fill those gaps. And that's the purpose of the CSP, is to use a tool, as we were saying, roadmap to success, see where your gaps are and see how you're going to put together what that action plan is that you need. And if necessary, support that officer in as they build their action plan so that you are all successful. And that gap that might be in your plan, or the multiple gaps that might be in your plan, you put together a good plan together as officers, and don't just leave that officer hanging out there and not being successful by him or herself.
Right. Thank you, Tina. That is so important. You want to make sure that you support each other. And again, 60% of the DCP falls under the purview of the VPE, so they may need some assistance from time to time. Fred, how do you utilize the CSP to keep you on track in your club?
Thank you for that question. It's been alluded to already that this needs to be a living document, but I would also make the case that it's not a living document by itself. As John has suggested earlier, one of the key performance indicators for us is the dashboard. And I find the dashboard to be much more useful, frankly, than the club success plan, in the sense that it's updated real time. As you've already indicated, Jackie, 60% of the DCP goals are educational goals. The dashboard is updated daily, so we can see exactly where we are. And when we're looking at, as a club officer team from time to time, where we're at, how far are we in the year? If we're halfway through the year and we haven't met our goals halfway, well, maybe we need to drill down a little bit. And now let's pull out the club success plan and see what were our plans, our strategies to overcome or to meet the goals that perhaps we're a little bit behind. But I find that week to week, day to day, the dashboard, the daily reports in particular, are very helpful for us. There's just some wonderful resources that TI has provided to us. I think those used in conjunction with the club success plan are a recipe for success as the leadership team continues to monitor what we're doing as the team directing the club's activities. Back to you, Jackie.
Thank you, Fred, for that. And I do see that we have a question from one of our participants this evening. So I am going to ask Dr. Carter to answer this one. How do you share the CSP with the members of your club?
Thank you so much. I saw that question also. I think Catherine did answer, but I will also agree. You can make the document a PDF and send it out to the team to look at. You may even want to take time during a club meeting to walk the group through that, because again, they're helping the accountability. It's not really just the 7 officers, it's the entire club, no matter how big or small the group is. They all should be aware of what is in this document so that they can help embrace and support. And, it's not just 7 people moving the club forward, it's everyone. So it's great for them to all understand what's there. And again, sharing the document and talking through it during a club meeting would be the best way to do that.
Thank you, Dr. Carter. It is 6:55, so I am going to close out with asking each of you to give us your final comments on the CSP. What tip would you like to pass on to our participants this evening? And I am going to start with John.
Thank you very much, Jackie, for this opportunity. I wanted to go back to something that Dr. Carter said. And it's a ubiquitous saying throughout our professional lives. And that is, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So planning is a very important part of the Toastmasters program. We work in companies that would not even think about conducting business without a plan. They look at 1, 3, 5-year horizons. They develop SWOT analysis. They analyze the competition. And it's incumbent upon us as Toastmasters, and particularly the executive committee, to make sure that we have a plan as well. And I want to leave you with 7 tips, 7 hidden tips on why planning is important. The first one is that it relieves stress. If you think about it, planning helps you relieve stress because you're planning to encounter maybe risks or opportunities down the road, and how are you going to address that? So it relieves stress. It's good for the brain. It makes you think. It makes you be creative. So planning makes you more creative, and it helps you think through the process. You achieve more goals if you plan. You certainly achieve more goals within the Distinguished Club program if you plan. So if you plan for members to achieve their goals by a certain date throughout the Toastmasters year, it helps you guide that progress and keeps you on track. It makes you more productive. It makes our professional lives more productive, and it certainly applies here in Toastmasters as well, making you more productive if you have a plan to use as a guide for moving forward throughout the year. It develops mindfulness. I mentioned the first one that it's a stress management tool, but also mindfulness, helping your brain throughout the process, and makes you happier. Number 7 is makes you happier because you have a plan. And hopefully it's a dynamic plan, a living plan, one that you can go back to and look at and address if needed, particularly if you encounter obstacles or if you encounter risks or encounter problems along the way. Membership's not growing as fast as you want. What are we going to do about it? Let's go back to the plan. Let's talk about what we had said and committed to paper at the beginning of the Toastmasters year. So those are the 7 tips I would offer as far as planning goes and the importance of planning.
Thank you, John. Those are great tips. Thank you so much for that. And Tina, what are your final comments on the CSP and your tips for everyone?
Sure. Similar to John, if you don't have a goal, you can't reach it, right? Just as he said, if you don't have a plan, you can't be successful. So do the club success plan. As an area director, I talked to my clubs about that, and there were some that did not do the club success plan, and that was unfortunate. It doesn't mean that that was, the end of the the end of the story for the year or the reason that they were or were not successful, but certainly, make sure it's a priority. And it's a best practice. So just make a point to do it. The president is the CEO of the club, so it should be on the list. And like I said, make it a priority, make it a best practice, involve all the officers, educate the officers. If you're not familiar with it, talk to your area director, talk to your division director. They know what it's all about. But this is a great resource. Thank you, Jackie and Catherine, for organizing it. And we should make this available going forward because we have a new process or a new document. It's not a new process, but this is a great resource. And share it with your club. Educate your club members because they could be your next officers for next year. So make sure that everyone's aware and make it a priority and look at it during the year because it is your roadmap.
Thank you, Tina.
Back to you, Jackie.
So much. And Fred, your final comments on the CSP and any tips you can pass along.
Thanks, Jackie. CEOs, they try to read 4 to 5 books a month. And who is their author of choice? It's Peter F. Drucker, of course. Peter F. Drucker having been the Harvard professor, management guru. And one of the things that Peter said that really strikes home is the best way to predict the future is to create it. And if you think about it, that's what planning is. Planning is a way to predict the future by creating it, by creating an outline, by creating a game plan, an action plan to get you where you want to go. And that's what we do with club success planning. It's that important. If we think about TI, we are where leaders are developed. What does that mean? It means we're a learning laboratory. We often say that for our club meetings, but let's not overlook the fact that our club officers also are a learning laboratory. Our club officer meetings, all the planning we do, this is a great way for us to test our skills. If we have people in the club who are not necessarily on board with an idea, guess what? That's not a problem. That's a challenge. It's a challenge we should welcome. Why? Because we have a chance to grow our ability to influence others. Everything we do in Toastmasters relates back to the office. Let's not lose the opportunity that we have with the Club Success Plan or with other tools to develop our skills, to develop ourselves as leaders, to actually use this as a learning laboratory. And here's a challenge. Here's a challenge. The Club Success Plan has something you rarely see in most planning documents. And what is that? It has that section there about our values and how we deal with conflict. That makes this tool uncommonly strong. What would happen if we were to take the CSP back to the office? The next time we need to do some planning at the office, what would happen if we were to use that same outline at the office? And now we have an incredible tool to how we can communicate and work through any of our differences or difficulties. We've got a great opportunity here. Let's use it to the max. Back to you, Jackie.
Thank you, Fred. Oh my goodness. This panel has been wonderful. All of your tips are just so invaluable. I cannot wait to hear what Dr. Carter is going to share on her final comments on the CSP and the tips she has to offer.
Well, the worst thing is going last, and second worst thing is going after Fred. But my thoughts, and always, a fair number of our officers are brand new to Toastmasters. If you recall in my intro, I got thrown in after only being in the club 3 months. And there are several officers have the same issue, and we applaud them for raising their hand, whether they were nominated, voluntold, however it was they got here, they are with us. So I say to those of you who are very new and trying to absorb it all, you went to TLI, you went to training, you're in executive board meeting, you're in club meetings, you have your name on the list now as an officer. It's a lot to absorb. So take everything in stride. Take any ideas you have. No idea is a bad idea. It may not have worked 3 years ago. It might work now. So always bring to the table your authentic self, offer your insight as a member, And whatever you felt sitting on the other side in those meetings, now you are in a point of being able to control the change and really change the face of your group. So if you don't have like some really great ideas right now, they'll come to you as you sit in the seat a little bit longer and interact with your peers. Please go to your area council meetings. Officers, please. That's when you get more information, learn from your peers. Those who are in the club, I would say, don't forget your members who are in your club that are not officers, that have been hanging around for years. They know a lot of things they just don't want to tell you. But if you ask them, they will be happy to talk to you about how the club could get stronger and some things that may have worked in the past that may work today. That is my insight for the group. Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you. I am going to ask everyone to come off of mute because we really need to give them a round of applause that they can hear. It's been wonderful. I truly appreciate and thank each of you for sharing your knowledge, your insight, and everything this evening. Now we are going to move into, back to our question and answers and workshop. If you have any questions for our panelists or any questions for me or Catherine, this is your time to ask them. And to also, if you have questions on how to complete your CSP and you want a little more insight, this is the time and you can raise your hand to do that.
Jackie.
Yes.
Okay. I'm really impressed with all the dialogue and everything else like that. Now all I have to do is understand it. I've been a member since 1987, so I'll remember some of the changes that have gone on. Some of the things I would like to learn about, quite honestly, is the first thing I would like to see if I can get some information about the manuals, which ones to get, and how do we get new members? How do people do that? Can we exchange ideas about that? In our chapter, Dawn Patrol, I think we have 4 members who English is not their first language. And, you know, we've invited them and they really have been, you know, bonanzas for us. And listen to the speeches and their the things that they do. Some of the terms that you're using, like club success plan, I'd like to know exactly what that is. I don't have any paperwork that shows me what that should be. I'm willing to get the material. I'm willing to pay for it and try and study so I can be a better manager at my own chapter. And I'm also trying to visit some of the other chapters. Who's ever doing Bakery Square, which is somewhat in my neighborhood, if that person could reply here or send me an email as to when they meet, I'd like to go there because I like that location also. Those are my thoughts. I won't help. And but I like to get some paperwork from the home office if they have it available. I'm not sarcastic, but I don't have the manuals. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. So you did ask a lot, and some of it is not pertaining to this evening's presentation. However, we do have our Program Quality Director of District 13, Marcy Antion, online, and I'm sure if you contact her about trainings that you are interested in, she will be happy to put something together for the district to address those issues. As far as membership growth, that is something her and the Club Growth Director would gladly be willing to talk to you about. As far as manuals, again, with Pathways, if you want to order the paper version, you can call Toastmasters International and they will be happy to help you with ordering that.
Okay.
And I did see a question from Colleen. She says, as an officer, how much time should be devoted to TM per week? Does anyone other than me want to answer that question for her? And it could be the panelist or anyone on, any participant that's on.
I'll try to answer that one, Jackie.
Okay.
And I know for the Moon Club, this question gets asked a lot. And it's asked before people even volunteer, or they're voluntold or non-volunteer, to use the language that Dr. Carter mentioned. But how much time do I have to devote? We have, the Moon Club has club officer meetings twice a month, and they last an hour each. So there's 2 hours right there. And if you split that up across the 4 weeks, that's probably a half hour per week. There's maybe some homework that you need to do, some brainstorming that needs to be done, so some self-reflection, or you're working on a particular open house or whatever, and that might be another hour or so a week. So the stocking answer I give to people is that if you're an officer, probably 2 hours a week. If you're not a club officer, then certainly as a member, you're going to be contributing, but maybe far less than that.
Thank you for that, John.
I want to, hey, Jackie.
Yes.
I wanted to circle back to the question that I believe Dan had asked about getting manuals. Was that Dan?
Yes.
Yes, it was.
Okay. And I think I also heard you ask about club success plans and getting your hand on the paper there. I believe that Jackie had made mention of the fact at the beginning of this meeting where you can get copies of the club success plan. What I also tell people is they say that imitation is the best form of flattery. So if you're struggling to create a club success plan and it's your first time going through it, ask for a successful club success plan as a guardrail or as an example of how to construct your own.
Thank you, John. And actually, Dawn Patrol has done the club success plan, and I did download it and email it to everyone on the executive committee, and we did go through it. And today we uploaded it to Toastmasters International. Corey asked a question, are we to submit the CSP to the district also? Marcy, are you able to answer that question?
Mind repeating the question? Are we able to?
Are clubs supposed to submit their CSP to the district?
Well, as best practice, I think the first point of contact is your area director. We appreciate for clubs to share that with their area director, because that is your point of contact for resources and for help. So my answer to you would be, please share your club success plan with your area director. If you want to share it with the district, that's fine with me. I'm happy to see them, but I am not as hands-on as your area director is, although I would enjoy to view it.
Okay, thank you. I know in past years, the club success plan was tied to one of the incentives for clubs. And I'm not sure if that's why Corey asked the question or not. Are there any other questions, or does anyone want help on how to complete their club success plan this evening?
Jackie, can I just add one comment to that about, submitting your success plan upward? So it's great that you should, and again, I have my district hat on every time, even though I'm no longer a district officer this year, that send them to your area director, because your area director should be doing an area success plan, and the inputs from the club help shape what the area director needs to do, especially if they are not familiar with all the clubs that they are taking on. That similarly, the area director success plan should roll up to the division success plan, and that should help provide intel to the district success plan. Now, the timing of that is disjointed because the district plan gets done well before that trickle up effect, but it does help provide some context around where there may be some areas of opportunity, where one area might need more help than another. So it does provide from the bottom all the way up a holistic sense of what the district needs to do. So having that rolled up sense of what's going on is very helpful. As a past district director, that's what I would love to be able to see. And I'm sure Stephanie would appreciate that too.
Thank you, Dr. Carter, for that district hat input. Cynthia has asked if we can share with TI that the signatures page be able to be uploaded to TI. I ran into that problem today where when you get to the signatures page, it asks for all this crazy certificate or something. So definitely district officers, we will let them know so they could pass that along to TI. Thank you, Cynthia. Are there any other questions this evening? Is anyone going to work on their CSP this evening and need assistance? If there are no more questions, we will close out for the evening. I do want to especially thank our esteemed panelists. Again, the insight that they shared was outstanding. I truly learned something this evening. I want to thank each and every one of the participants who took time out of their evening and week to join us. Thank you so much for participating. And I want to thank Catherine. She, again, is our hostess of the Mostess. So thank you, Catherine, for hosting this as the Division D Director. Thank you, Marcy, our Program Quality Director, for joining us this evening. Our Club Growth Director, Addie, was on earlier, but she had another call that she had to jump on for her Club Growth call. So we do thank our district support and have a good evening.
Before we officially log off, can we actually turn it over to Marcy to give a few district announcements?
We most certainly can.
Thank you.
I want to give a huge shout out to you, Jackie. Wonderful. Thank you so much for putting all of this together, working together with Catherine and finding some amazing panelists. This was something that club officers asked of us, and you listened, and I can't thank you enough. The Club Success Plan has always been a bit of a little bit of a difficulty for some of our clubs. So this session has been incredibly amazing. Short announcements about some of our upcoming events. I want you to keep your eyes glued on the prize, officers. We do have a deadline, August 31st, to acquire those that training goal of 4 officers trained by August 31st. So catch our District 13 website to look at. Yes, there are upcoming trainings. There's one tonight, actually. There's ones on Monday, on Tuesday, and Wednesday. So if you have an officer in a club that can catch one and get you that point or that goal, all the better for all of our officers and clubs. My second announcement is to keep your ears and eyes peeled, because we do have a fall leadership symposium coming up, and that is on Saturday, September 24th. I'm really excited about this. It is a hybrid event, and we will have the chance to be together in person or to visit online. The theme of that event will be to share your story. Thank you again, and I turn the meeting back over to our event chair, Catherine McCarron.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Marcy. And just one thing I'll remind this group too, because it does pertain to them, is to join the district council meeting on September 10th. If you haven't registered, please do that. Every vote counts. I do not have any other announcements for this evening besides also saying thank you. Jackie, are you good to go for sign off?
Yes, I am. Thank you again, everyone, and have a good evening.
Awesome. Thank you everyone for joining. We really appreciate it. Have a great night.